Okay, so incoming, right? This is the new Netflix teen comedy, and it is from Dave and John Chernin, who wrote and directed the joint. The film is produced by Gary Barber, Todd Garner, Mark Koschak, right? Peter Olategeri, Peter Principato, Ben Silverman, Nicholas Stoller, and Connor Welsh. It is executive produced by Chris Stone, Noah Nosanau, and Caroline James. It is co-produced by Brett Derdiger and Julia Woods. Okay, with some line production from Ryan Kirby. Okay, Jonathan Sadoff took care of the music. Ricardo Diaz is on the cinematography. Josh Croquet and Elizabeth Pranio edit the piece, with Ben Pollack and Seth Yanklowitz taking care of casting duties. Production design is Jordan Henderson. Art direction is Alan Peferick. Valerie Clarich was costume design. We got hair, makeup, dental, all of that stuff. Gary Archer, Josti Embry, Z Graham, Roxy Grande, Loretta James Damasi, Hedvig Lee, Mark Maphall, Beffy Mirlis, Kelly Muldoon, and Pam Phillips. So, our cast, right? Benji Nielsen is played by Mason Thames. He's got a sister, Alicia, played by Ali Gallo, and his mum, right, is played, well, their mum. This is not just his. Their, Alicia and Benji's mum is played by Caitlin Olsen. Now, Alicia's best friend, Bailey, is played by Isabella Ferreira. And Benji's friends, we have got Connor, played by Raphael Alejandro. Eddie, played by Ramon Reed. And Dana Kushani, right? aka Kush, played by Bardia Seiri. Right now, Dana has a brother, Kayvon, who also goes by Kush, but he's the elder brother and he went by Kush first. All right, we've also got Ruby, who is Benji's carpool. He's played by Thomas Barbosa. Who else do we have? We've got Katrina Arriera, played by Lorne Gray. She is the most popular girl in school. There's Mr. Stuba Baker, played by Bobby Carnaval. We've got Dennis, who is dating Eddie's mum, and he is played by Scott MacArthur. Eddie's mum is played by Dinora Walcott. We've also got Jessica, played by Stephanie Rons. Cool Jeff, played by Devon Wheatley. There is also Nicole, played by Sammy Jack Martinac. Gabrielle, played by Victoria Morales. Principal Hutchins, played by Kim Hawthorne. That's probably our Coach Barella, played by Talia Bernstein. So that is our main cast, I would say. Gist of the film is their first week of high school, the biggest party of the year. Mistakes will be made as 4 teenage boys navigate a night of mayhem and debauchery. So yeah, that is the gist of this new movie, right? And yeah, it's a film trying to capture, right, that kind of coming of age movie, right? It wants to be that film, you know? And look, I've seen a load of spots, right? Talk about Superbad, right? You can look at Superbad, you can look at Juno. You know what I mean? Like these films that seem to capture that moment in time, right? It's the modern day Pretty in Pink, 16 Candles, that kind of thing, you know? And we've seen this done to a plum, right? I mean, we've seen it done so well, right? Sorry you're not invited to my bar mitzvah. I talk about that film all the time, but it's so freaking great. It's so great, right? And Incoming, you know, it's going for that thing. It's going for that thing. Now, with this kind of comedy in recent years, for the most part, because although we've had these great ones, you know, God, It's Me, Margaret, You're Not So Invited to My Bar Mitzvah, Joyride, oh God, Scrambled, right? We've had some great ones. Actually, Scrambled isn't. That's just a straight up comedy. That's not a coming of age one. But you know, I think we've had these comedies that have tried to be this crazy funny thing, but then they want to be mad PC, right? And listen, I say mad PC, I'm not saying it's necessarily a bad thing, right? But you're either one or the other, right? You want to be so friggin' funny, so out there. But when you're doing that, you gotta cross the line at times. And that's not being like mad offensive or crazy, but look, funny's funny. You know what I mean? And these films, they're too afraid. They're too afraid. Now, Incoming does definitely attempt to be all out, right? It attempts to be all out there, you know, showing all manner of things, saying all manner of things, you know. A lot of the language, yeah, seems right, right? Seems right, what people would say, and kids and young people and all of that jazz. But there's a weird, I don't know, it might just be me, but it felt like there's this weird thing going on with the flick, right? I mean, we open up with Benji making out with his mirror and like dry humping it. I don't know who does that. I don't know who does that. I never tried to kiss my mirror. I wasn't trying to dry hump my mirror. Like, I don't know what that is. You know, it's kind of like wanting to have their own pie moment, right? I'm talking about Jason Biggs fucking the pie in American Pie, right? They want to have their moment. It just felt random and weird because, as I said, I don't know who's doing that, right? I don't know who's doing that. And then throughout the film, right, you'll have the Benji character be like, oh, I'm for women, I'm this, I'm blah 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 blah. Right? So like pulling back on certain things. But we then have him in a bit like lip slip, right? And he's not saying anything. Right, so he sat there for ages staring at this. And you would imagine, right, if a girl caught you doing that shit, it's kind of over. It's done. But it's that weird thing that we get in certain films, right, where all manner of things could be done. But they'll have the girl go, oh, it's all good. Yeah, we'll still get together. Right? When you're just like, whoa. Is this girl completely lacking self-esteem? Right? Because if she is fine, but at least kind of show that. Right? That she's mad insecure and that's why. Because otherwise, right? If she's meant to be this girl with a head on her shoulders, like you're saying, why the fuck is she gonna mess with this dude? Right? And I think, you know, sometimes we get in films where they have to really be so over the top in emphasizing a thing because it's not evident in anything that we have seen, right? So then a character has to literally spell it out because where you should be able to read it, right? It should be so obvious. It's not. They know it's not. So then someone has to say the words. And that's with this film, right? Because there is, like, you're watching it and you're going, why would she date that dude? Like, why? Right? Why would she want to get with that dude? Like, you're scratching your head. It makes no sense. It makes no sense, right? So there's that aspect of the story that's weird. The car. I'm like, I don't know what's happening with that. Right? Because firstly, okay, you can have someone have an accident like that. Right? You can have that. That's fine. But then what happens? I don't see it doing that. Right? It's just like, wait, how is that doing that? And here's the other thing. Because we see the cleanup job. Right? We see the supposed cleanup job. But here's the thing. If you do that thing, everything has to come off. Otherwise, your legs, your arms, your head might be clean, but one part of you is still gonna be messy, right? It's still gonna be messy, so it's still gonna stink. You know what I mean? Like, you can put a hose on someone, but unless everything's getting cleaned out, I mean cleaned out, right? It's still gonna stink. There's still gonna be some funk up in that spot. So the fact that then the next day, like, no one's like, oh my God, what the fuck is going on? Yo, this place still has a ting about it, right? No one's doing that. Which makes no sense. Makes no sense. And if we're saying that that area is clean, then that's a big problem. Because, yo, you know what I mean? Yo just got off in some place where you should not be. You should not be without consent. You feel me? So you're just like, yo, that whole thing doesn't really play. Doesn't really make any sense. Right? There's just these moments in the film that don't really. You're like, what is happening? Even the K situation. Like, the rationale to do it isn't really there, right? It was just come on, okay. Like, what do we, like, it doesn't make any sense, right? And that's the problem. I think there's moments in the film that do work, right? I mean, Caitlin Olsen and Body Carnival are very good. I mean, they're top tier, right? So they're gonna be good. But they are you do feel the characters are underutilized. But what does kind of work is at the very beginning with Mr. Stuberbaker, and you can see that he's having a rough time, right? None of his friends are there. And you do wonder if they're actually his friends, right? So you can see why he might do the things he does, you know? But that, when he's on the phone trying to organize shit, that's some heartfelt shit, right? You feel that. So it's moments like that that work, that they do very well. It's just when they try to really push the envelope that the film gets a little bit baggy, right? That things just don't really coalesce. I think it's because they're trying maybe too hard, right? Trying too hard. And we haven't fully established that chemistry, that vibe, you know? Now, obviously, right? Because there are these films that I just don't get, right? I did not enjoy Anyone But You. Didn't like it, right? Babes didn't work for me. You know? There's these films that I feel like the larger audience, the younger audience are vibing with. And I'm just like, yeah, not me, man. It's not me, right? Just so many of these newer kind of rom-com coming things, they're not really working. I'm not vibe. Like, Foggy Mountain, right? The please don't destroy, please do destroy. You know, those destroyed kids, right? I don't like that film. But I do think if you did like that film, if you did, Incoming will work. I think if you enjoyed Anyone But You, then this, this will probably work. If you like Space Camp, Space Cadet even, boom, again, this will work, right? If you enjoyed, what was it, that friggin' A Family Affair, right? That other Netflix joint, I think that's the audience. That's the audience. I don't think the people that enjoyed things like Superbad, Zack and Miri Make a Porno, right? Any, Jay and Silent Bob Strikes Back, Juno, just any of the, I don't think this film is for those people. I don't think it's the same. It's not Knocked Up, right? It's not 40-Year-Old Virgin. It's not even like, the standouts from last year, Joyride. You're Not Invited to My Bar Mitzvah, Margaret. God, like those films, straight funny, man. Straight funny. It's not there. These dudes wrote a number of episodes for It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. It's not as funny as that. With Always Sunny, I'm laughing. I didn't laugh. But that's the thing, right? I think this is for this newer generation. So if you're that newer generation, and you like those other films, then Incoming will be for you. It's on Netflix, right? So people, enjoy, right? Enjoy.